Hi, I'm Risky. This is Death's Gambit. It's a sweet 2D Metroidvania, very similar to Salt and Sanctuary, if you've played that. Has a lot of Dark Souls elements to it. Has a stamina bar on the top left. You pick a class at the start and a starting item. We pick Noble and Crystal Bombs, which we'll explain later. Here we can mash out and get a free attack during the dialogue. It's kind of strange. We're going to kill this guy so that we can skip a cutscene later and get our plumes right away. And the plumes are essentially Estus. They are the same function. They refill when you rest. Yeah, very useful. That big bird guy you just saw drop down is Death. And the story in this game is that you died, and Death brings you back to life as an immortal. And he wants you to destroy the source of immortality so that all immortals will die. Because death is a natural thing. We're cool with it. So right here is a Leaf of Gaia, and this is a full heal item. We're going to collect a few of these throughout the run, and they're really useful in the late game, because the late game is just super dangerous. So that was an item jump, and an item jump is one of the glitches we'll be using a lot in the run. And you drop an item, you jump, and then you interact with the item right away. And what that does is give you just a little bit of extra height during the item grab animation as you fly up. And it's not a lot of height, but it's enough to break a lot of puzzles and save us some time. And here we're going to rest and augment our feathers, which means we have no more heals now, but for each feather we augment, we gain 10% more damage. So right now that's 30% more, which is awesome. This is some ladder climb tech, which is sweet. You just mash jump and attack and you climb really quick. You parry this dude, which is just kind of specific timing. You press shield and attack, and it lets you counter with a really high damage hit that one-shots him. Here's another item jump, and this just lets us not have to go around to the left and climb up a ladder. This part is pretty spooky, but you see our stamina on the top left. We can roll 3 times before we run out of stam, and we're invincible while we're rolling. So we can roll through the fire and mitigate most of the damage and survive going through it. And here are bombs. The bombs do 417 damage, and our normal attacks do 40, if that gives you any sort of scale of the damage, how good bombs are. And we're going to be using bombs on basically everything to kill them. Here's another item jump, and this item jump skips a boss fight right here. And because we skipped that boss fight, we actually don't get a talent point. That's okay. We activate the second button. We just need one more to open that door. And you see us rolling up hills like that. Any ramps that you roll up that are facing that way, you will gain significantly more speed when you go up them. And we're going to do it again right here. Going down ramps is a lot slower. So here we item jump again. We kind of skip like a little bit of that puzzle. Grab Fragile Courage, which is an item that gives you a bunch of health, a bunch of max HP, but it gets permanently destroyed if you die, which isn't really a problem in the speedrun. And here is a small arena to finish off this area. We just need to kill these 2 little guys, which is pretty simple. Then we need to do a specific strat on the big guy after them. We need to parry him, walk up really close, and throw a bomb to him. Throw a bomb onto him and then parry. And that kills him right away. Otherwise he shields and becomes invincible. It's very obnoxious. So now that we've activated all 3 buttons, this door opens, and we can crow plume back to our save statue, which is just a quick little teleport to the last save statue you used. We get on our mount, and now we go to Horse Hallway. And Horse Hallway just connects a bunch of areas throughout the game, so you can conveniently get to them. We don't really come back here though, in any percent. And we're just going to run to the first boss, it's Owlman, and it's a really simple boss. You just have to make sure you position correctly with your bombs. That is the major difficulty in the speedrun, is positioning correctly with bombs, because the hitboxes for them are really bad. You have to be either very close or very far away for them to hit. So we just position right behind him, do 1 jump attack, 4 bombs, accidentally throw another one, don't worry about that, and he is dead. We open our menu whenever we fall, because it makes us fall really fast. Another item jump, we pick up another healing leaf for later, and an immortal stone. And that just gives us money. Like right now we have 439 shards, you can see. When we use that stone, we'll have 1,000 more. And we need that to buy items when we get to Sanctuary. And here we are at Sanctuary. This is the main town hub, where all of your shopkeepers are and stuff. There's a special merchant here because we're a noble, and he is the reason that we go noble. He sells warp orbs very early on. He's the only way to get them early in the game, early enough to be fast. And warp orbs, you throw them and you teleport to where you threw it, which is awesome. So we're gonna buy enough items here, enough bombs here to kill the NPCs in town, and then enough warp orbs for the rest of the game. We pick up a sweet weapon that he drops, and then we kill him for the money. Everyone here takes 2 bombs to kill and gives 300 or more shards, so it's worth it. We buy Blink from the Lizard Man and we kill him. Blink is a really important skill for later. And here we buy another plume from Bird Girl and we kill her. And now we talk to the shopkeeper. And we're going to buy a dagger from him. So each skill in the game is linked to a specific weapon you have to have equipped to use it. And for Blink, it's the dagger, so we need the dagger. We're going to do an item jump to this chest and destroy it. And this gives us Wisp. This is an item that reduces the cost of the first ability you have equipped. And that'll be really, really important for Blink later on. We grab a cape that gives us health, and we grab a leaf of Gaia right here. So now we have 3 of those heal leaves for later on, which is great, because they're just an instant full heal. And now is the first major glitch of the run, the Bulwark instant kill. And it's really easy to do. Wait for him to do this attack, and then you spam Scythe. The pre-order Scythe. It's the only way to get it. It's if you pre-ordered the game. And it's the only weapon that does this to Heroic Bulwark for some reason. You actually do infinite damage when you hit him. And if you look closely when the Scythe swings, you'll see INF on the boss. Right there. And now, since we killed him twice, we got around 4,000 shards, which is amazing. We'll be using that for the rest of our shopping for the run. And we open this lever, and we're going to drop down to the other end of Horse Hallway, basically the Endgame, which we're not supposed to be able to get to yet, but we're going to do a kind of funny skip right here, which isn't even anything special. We just item jump, and there's like no collision right there above that specific door. Don't know. So we level up our finesse to 10 and our haste to 6 because we have to be able to use Blink. And we want the bare minimum for that. So we equip Blink, and then we're gonna shop at our good friend Fink here. And we're gonna buy around 30 of these dragon berries because they're the cheapest item in the shop. That's why we're buying them. And then we're gonna buy 80 or so bombs to be killing the endgame bosses with, because there's no way that we can really scale our damage effectively with the weapon by the time we get to endgame. It's just not worth the time. And the last thing we're going to buy is a helm, which gives us some auto extra health and strength for our weapon damage. So we equip our dagger, our aura to make our blink cheaper, and then we get a talent that every time we use an item, we gain focus in the top left, which means we can use blink each time we use an item. It gives us 7 and it costs 5 to use. So while we're waiting for blinks here and stuff, we equip all the stuff that we need for endgame, make sure we're all set with everything, and each time we do it, we just kind of move up a little more and into the terrain. And after a certain number of blinks, we can get out of the wall and move to the right and skip over 2 different doors. One of them being the sigil door, which is basically the main gate of the whole game. The game wants you to go kill 3 different bosses throughout the game, come back with their sigils and unlock it to get to Caer Siorai, but we don't care. We're just gonna kind of run through a dark place for a long time and get there ourselves. Coming up, once we get to the next wall, this is just kind of traversing above a hallway instead of running through it normally. This is the sigil door right below us now, and now we're past it. So we're gonna kind of clip into the wall. We like shifted forward a little bit when we jumped into the wall there. That's how we know that we'll clip into it with our next blink. And we're just cheating a little bit, using our feathers to gain energy instead of our items, so we can save a little bit of them. And we need to do 8 of these, and then warp orb over the transition that's above the ladder. And once we do that, we're just going to keep holding right and just run through a dark place a little bit more. So you got the warp orb, and the next skip is a really tough one because it's completely off screen and you can't see anything, and because the skip requires like really pixel specific spacing, and you obviously, since you're off screen, you cannot know where you are. We have to do the exact skip we just did on that ladder. There's another ladder to our right that we're doing it on. And this time, we need to throw a warp orb onto the transition instead of over it. So once we get to the top, we want to throw it in such a way we hit the transition and just don't even worry about anything else. But if you hold like one directional input wrong while you're going up, that can be like it for that attempt, and you have to redo it. So I throw a warp orb up here. I missed it. That's fine. That means we just drop down and we can try again. We gotta see once the screen starts moving up, that means we know we're in the wall. Right there. Now we know we're in the wall. We have to do it 8 times going up, and we'll try again. This is a really safe skip because there's really no way to mess it up in such a way that you kill the run, and you can just buy a bunch of extra of these flowers if you want. They're so cheap. And it only takes 8 of them per attempt. So here's the 8th one. Throw a warp orb. Got it on the 2nd one. And boom. We're in the endgame zone. We roll up that ramp, but not this one because you fly through that one for some reason. Don't know. We're going to warp orb past the cutscene trigger here, so we don't have to lower the bridge. Otherwise, it would be like 15-20 second cutscene to do that. And now is the most dangerous part of the run. This is Endless's castle. And Endless is like the biggest, baddest immortal around town. All these guys do like a quarter of your health or more per hit, or just kill you outright, and it's pretty obnoxious. So we're gonna run through here and try not to die. Barely avoid this guy's attack. And we want to rest at the statue, make sure we augment our feathers that we got from before. So that way we're doing 50% more damage now instead of 30%. And we're gonna fight Heroic Phoenix. And this boss has a pretty consistent strat, but the very last part of it has RNG, because a healing feather drops on the ground and she has a chance to want to run to it. And there's not really any way to stop her from doing it. But as you can see, the strat is really nice. She only chooses from 2 different attacks when you're above her like this, and both of them have long enough startup that the bomb interrupts her and she just tries again. So you can just throw bomb after bomb, and luckily she didn't walk over to that feather on the ground over there. So we grab the Immortalite Stone here. The other 2 items don't matter. And boss down. Cool little quirk. If we throw the dagger into a transition, it doesn't have a cooldown. So you can just use it again as soon as you transition. Be careful with these blades because they chunk you pretty hard. And kill this guy as we walk through and avoid this crusher. And we really just want to get to the end of this castle as fast as we can without getting messed up. So we're going to equip our heal leaves here and just have our finger ready in case we get hit. Because they do full heal, so we don't want to waste them too early. But again, because everything does so much damage, you kind of have to sometimes. And coming up, here's a golden knight that I have a kind of specific strat for, where you want to roll through them and throw a dagger. I messed it up and some weird stuff happened, but it's okay. I'm really surprised I survived here. It's not like 10 life or something. No complaints. We're already down to 1 leaf though. You're not supposed to use any of the leaves before the final boss. That's why you get them, because Endless is so difficult. So we're going to transition here because it resets these fireballs coming down. And also, in this hallway coming up, there can be lightning that you can't do anything about. It's the golden knights that are below you. It hits on the whole screen, and it will just end your run if it hits you up here, and there's nothing you can do. It covers like the whole hallway. So when you transition, it just resets the guys below you, and you're fine. So we want to avoid these blades. Play it safe, because once we're out of that spinny blade hallway, we're good. We can just run to the end boss. There's no more enemies now. And it's like, you can unclench for a good 20 or 30 seconds. Because we just gotta slow ride this elevator up here. Make sure we have everything equipped that we need equipped. Put on this Immortalite we just got from Phoenix. We can't use any items while we're on the elevator, but we can equip stuff. And remember, we grabbed a feather after Heroic Phoenix on the ground, so we want to augment that at the statue for 10% more damage, which we do right here. And then we level up, we just put all our points into strength, because our weapon scales with strength. Each weapon scales with a different stat, but the one we start with is strength, and in case we do hit her with melee attacks, we'll do more damage. Leveling stats other than Vit also does give a small bonus to health, but not as much as if you put your points into Vitality. But anyway, here's Endless. We're just going to throw bombs on her and lure her to the corner, because when you throw the bomb at the corner, it instantly explodes, and it makes it way easier to stagger her. That's a parry for a ton of damage, because we maxed out our strength. So that's first phase down. Now throw some more bombs in this phase. We have a chance to hit her with some bombs early on, but then she goes really anime and swoops around and we can't really hit her. We just have to avoid her attacks. 50-50 on which side she goes here. If she went to the right, we could have bombed her, but it's okay. We just reflect one green thing, and you can see the bombs just don't hit at mid-range a lot of the time. And we barely get her to the next phase before she slices us up. So now is the scariest part of the whole fight. This is Endless Fear. And in this part, this is the highest chance you have to die. She summons these orbs that, if you don't kill her fast enough, they just kill you. They do like 300 damage, which we can't tank. And luckily we got through that phase too. And now after that, it's kind of smooth sailing. We go right here, we just bomb her in the face, but because we're so low with no heal leaves, we actually can't. Normally you can just face tank the lightning. And it makes this part really scary. You see the 2 bombs just blow up for no damage? She pushes us off the cliff, and then the cutscene saves our life and brings us back. It's beautiful. And this one is totally free. There's no chance you can die in this one if you position right. Just 8 bombs, fight's over. And now time is called when I hit this orb after this cutscene. And that's time. Hope you enjoyed Death's Gambit. It's a really good game. I like the story. I like the art is beautiful. I like the music. The atmosphere is just on point. The combat's great. It's a little buggy, but you know, some games are buggy. What are you gonna do? This run can for sure be lower than a 19. I think you can probably get like a 17 or a 16, but you need a lot of good RNG and not to mess up Caer Siorai skip and lose like a minute. So these are all different immortals that we didn't see during our run. We saw Bulwark and fought him, but this is an area we didn't see at all. It's big mouth mamas, some tentacle chests, and these are kind of NPCs that we interact with. Snailman. This is Sniper Chick. She's really cool, but we didn't get to see her at all. She's one of my favorite characters. Thank you for watching.